Gauchos, and welcome to another episode of GauchoTV, coming to you live this week from inside my command control center, aka my office, and bringing you this week's top 5. This week, so before we get into the top 5, it's iPhone 4 week, right? It's a big deal for everyone who is an Apple fanboy, iPhone user, or a human interested in using the best phone ever made. But I know I talk about it a lot. I make kind of a big deal out of it. So rather than drone on and on about it, I figured this week I would bring you a top 5 contradictory to everything I believe and hold true. That is to say, the top 5 smartphones that are not iPhones. So this would be the top 5 smartphones that are available that are not the Apple iPhone. And believe it or not, I was able to find 5. Little joke. I'm joking. Just kind of joking there. Okay, so number 5, the HTC HD 2. All right, it's available on T-Mobile. It's speedy, has decent onboard memory, and it feels very Windowsy. It runs Windows Mobile 6.5, which unfortunately is also a con. It's a pro, but it's a con if you're not a big Windows fan. If you like the Windows Mobile interface, then, well, it's got it. Unfortunately, the Windows Mobile 7 version is available, which it does not run on this phone, so you can't use it. Other cons, it feels big, feels clunky, and is generally underwhelming as a smartphone of this caliber, but I had to come up with 5. So the top 4 I'm a little more serious about. But that's your number 5, in case you wondered. Now, you also may be wondering why I don't actually have the physical phones to show you. Well, for one reason, they're not too keen on me walking into any of the local phone stores and just filming myself talking to a camera like this. Strange. I know that seems odd, but they're less than thrilled about it. Particularly for every derogatory thing I've said about any non-iPhone phones, I'm on a lot of watch lists. So, anyway, moving on. Number 4, the BlackBerry Bold 9650. Available on Verizon and Sprint. Pros are it's got the BlackBerry email, which is very reliable. BlackBerry advocates love the BlackBerry messaging system. So it's got that. It's got a GPS, has apps, has an app store that is growing. So you can get those BlackBerry apps, which is just like almost like another type of phone that runs apps that has a much bigger app store, who I will not name right now, out of a sense of kindness. Some of the cons are, to me, BlackBerries have always felt big and goofy and overcomplicated, too many buttons, too much going on the front of it. It does have the weakest camera of any of the top 5 phones that I'm mentioning. Lowest megapixel count, doesn't shoot well in dark or light. Talk time's pretty weak, but standby time is pretty good on it. And also, you may remember when I was making fun of that Black Eyed Peas song in the BlackBerry commercial. That is reason enough alone to not get this phone. Number 3, the Droid Incredible. Available on Verizon. Some of the pros for the Incredible are it's fast, it's responsive, has a peppy processor, pretty decent camera, and Android has some pretty good apps available. Cons are it feels cheap, which is a common problem with a lot of these phones. They just don't feel very hardy when you hold them. They feel cheap and plasticky. A phone that didn't make it in the top 5, the Palm Pre, feels extraordinarily cheap, as though you could crush it with your hands quite easily. Back to the Incredible. The interface can be a little confusing, and battery life is a little on the low end. So those are the cons. Number 2 is the Nexus 1. It's available on any network for full price, or you can get it subsidized on T-Mobile for something a little more closer to a reasonable price. Pros for it are it's got the best screen available outside of the iPhone. Really a bright, crisp, beautiful display. The design on it's really clean. It is really speedy. Some of the cons, though, are it's not really a great network. T-Mobile's network is not that great. It's not as bad as AT&T's, but still. If that's like a deciding factor in you getting the phone versus an AT&T or T-Mobile, T-Mobile's network, it's better, but... Now, the phone in its unlocked form is super expensive. This is another con. It's over $500, and it does not work on AT&T's network. If you decide to switch later, you'll still end up having to get a better phone. And I think we all know which phone I'm talking about. and it's not the next one, although this is the number one, the HTC Evo 4G. Available on Sprint. It's got a good camera, a humongous screen, and it does work as a mobile 4G hotspot where 4G is available, which is not everywhere. Some of the cons are the battery life on it is not great. Out of the phones in the top five best smartphones across all the networks. Yeah, not terrific battery life. The body on it is huge. It feels huge in your hand. And hugeness is not usually a property we're looking for in mobile phones. Just saying. And probably the worst deal about the Evo 4G is you're going to pay $10 a month extra for the 4G coverage, even if you don't have 4G in your area. Basically, there's a $10 surcharge just for having this phone on that network. And you're going to pay it whether you use it or not. Although it could be argued that if you've got an iPhone, you're paying for phone coverage for a lot of areas on AT&T where it is not necessarily available. Nah. Anyway, that's it for this week's Top 5. Stick around for more Gaucho TV. Hey Gauchos, it's Marv here coming to you live from Target, well, or the closest Target to my house anyway, and I figured this week I would bring you some shopping secrets. Ooh, secrets. Is that as cheesy as it sounds? It's pretty cheesy. Okay. So most savvy Target shoppers already know how to shop the end caps for the clearance deals. If you've been to Target, you know they clear out all their stuff on the end caps, particularly super Targets. If you walk the end caps, you always find great deals. But do you know when that stuff goes on clearance? That is the saving secret, getting there first while the stuff is fresh and the good stuff is out. So, first of all, I got to give you a little disclaimer. Now, this is true of most Targets around the country. As far as I know, most of them stick to this schedule, but your mileage may vary. So if this is not the case at your local Target, I apologize, but this is generally true through most of the Targets that I've seen referenced. Okay? Okay, let's begin. Usually these markdowns are done at the start of the business day. So when they open up, they do the markdowns, and they're usually done by noon. So if at all possible, if you're close to one, you can stop by Target over your lunch hour and get first dibs on these deals. Okay? Okay, so here's the schedule for when stuff goes on clearance at Target. Monday is electronics, kids' clothes, stationery, and party supplies. So if you've got a party coming up for a kid, you can buy them clothes and get all kinds of deals all at once. Tuesday is domestics, women's clothing, pet stuff, and food. Wednesday is men's clothing, toys, lawn and garden, health and beauty. Those are the Wednesday items. Thursday is housewares, sporting goods, shoes, movies, books, and music, and home decor and luggage. On Friday, it's auto care, cosmetics, hardware, and jewelry. Those are the days those items go on sale. Now, how do you know when stuff at Target has hit the bottom price as cheap as it's going to get? Well, according to a lot of Target insiders, when the end of the price ends in the number 4, so like $5.84, if something's clearance marked down and ends in a 4, that is as low as that price is going to go, and that's when you should buy it. So if you have a savings secret for where you like to shop, let me know here in the comments on the Gaucho blog. In the meantime, next week I'm back with more savings secrets. Ooh, secrets. Is this working? It's probably not working. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you right here next time on Gaucho TV. See ya. I'm going to go in and get some deals. I got to go in and buy some blank DVDs. Maybe a body groomer, because my old one broke, and you don't need to know why.